Hey everybody, this is Brian from pnbhomesteading.com, and it's time to feed the worms again. I always like to put these videos out even if it's the same thing over and over. You know, maybe somebody new will see this and want to follow the progress. So let's get to it. This is my little worm bin. It's a Worm Factory 360. It's got a bunch of layered trays for the kitchen scraps and the waste recyclable junk mail to go in. It's got a little tray down here to catch the chile or the worm juice. It looks like I need to empty that, so I'll take that and dump that onto my garden boxes up here I have on the deck. Give them a little bit more fertility boost. But today we're just going to clean out one of these trays, and we'll fill the upper tray with a little bit more of this garden compost, and then I'll add the tray that I'm emptying onto the top. So let's get to it. Lid. Separate these trays. Slide him over there. Look at that. That's good looking stuff. Got my little bucket here and my handy scraper. That. And there's some worms in there. This is going to be on the next layer of our potato tower, because I've been taking these castings and put them into the potato towers we're doing this year to give a fertility boost up to that compost. So I'm using new compost in there, so I want to give it as much of a chance to get as much potato development as I can. So just gonna put a worm in here. And the worms, I'm sure they're happy over there in those potato towers, because that's like, layers of good, healthy, organic compost along with this worm castings. So they're probably living over there thinking it's high on the hog. Well, it comes time for harvest, then I have to scrape them all out and move that compost back up onto the hill for the winter. How that just flakes out of there. And of course, you got your eggshells in there for your calcium. I crush those up. Those don't get decomposed by the worms, but as I've mentioned before, they just go right into the soil and they get broken down by the elements, and they feed your plants. So if you got calcium starved tomato plants, you can take this stuff and spread it around their tomato plants, and you'll get a really dark green vigor boost. I've seen that in my indoor grow tent for vegetables that I usually go in there in the wintertime. That's what I do with my worm castings, is I put them inside my grow tent and put them around all of my plants inside there to give them a huge boost, because I want them producing to their maximum potential when it's cold outside, because I'm not able to grow outdoors. So I need to get my full maximum potential growth and production from there, so that way Paula and I have healthy salads and everything to eat throughout the entire winter, along with the tomato plants I grow under there. And this year I'll be doing some different stuff, like I'm going to have basil growing year round, along with cucumbers. So anyway, get you little flipper guy. Get out of there. And you don't have to scrape it totally clean. As I mentioned before, I'll leave some of the worms in here. That way they're going to start working on the next batch. One guy, get down there. Don't you crawling out. Get crazy. Let's see that there for now. Do this. As you'll notice, these worms have been getting pretty active. These are almost touching. And when they touch, when they get filled up, I mentioned in other videos there's a gap about like that. They'll eat it down, and when they're touching, that means those boxes are ready for processing and harvest. And so these boxes, this one, and this one, I could probably take another one if I wanted to today, but you know, since I'm not going to be doing the potato towers this week, I'm going to leave this one until next week when I put the next layer of compost in the potato tower. And I'll put this, and then I'll take this tray and mix those together and put them inside the 2 potato towers. I put 1 tray in each potato tower, so that way I can put this bag, you know, this bin of the tub truck. I can do the first tower, and then I can come and grab this one, put it in there, and then take it to the next potato tower, and then put that in there. So that'll make it easy. So we got our kitchen scraps here. Take that, put this one in the existing tray that we've already got started. This is going to finish off this tray. Looks like we got some more eggshells. Crush those up. We got some SCOBY from Paula's. There's a SCOBY, one of the old SCOBYs for kombucha. Got some more eggshells. Crush those up. Right in there. Get in there. Rock dust. Spread that around on there. That way when I spread this around, the rock dust is already in there. So whenever I use this compost, I don't have to go and grab my bag of rock dust. Also put a pinch of that in there because it's already been processed through the worms. You know, the worms like the minerals. So it seems to work for them. A bag of junk mail, toilet paper tubes. Spread this around so you got a nice layer over the top. I love using this junk mail. I know it's not going to a landfill. I don't get as much junk mail as I used to though in the old days. So I also bring home some waste paper from work sometimes. Stuff that's, you know, sitting in garbage cans and the recycling bin under people's desks. Like my coworkers, I sometimes go over there and ask them if I can take their paper that they've got sitting in there. They probably think I'm nuts. Why do you want that junk paper? Because I grow worms. Well, actually, no. I grow soil. There we go. Okay. See, now that's flat on that. You can see that gap there. I can put 2 fingers in there. That's flat against that compost. Or what's, you know, going to become, you know, worm castings, and you can see there's just a little tiny gap there, a little tiny one there, there's none there, none there. So that's how you, that's one thing I do like about these trays is you know when it's ready to actually be processed and taken out and put in your gardens. Okay, so now we got the new tray. Let's grab the next bag. It's opened up. Alright. We got cantaloupe, we got all kinds of stuff in this one. Leaves. Spread you around. Must be the happiest little worms around. I'm just thinking, God, this guy has a lot of good stuff. Alright. Oh, that. Grab some more rock dust. I guess you could always, you know, I often thought about putting something like green sand in here. Green sand is basically a old, what is it, sand that used to be ocean sand. I think it has a mix-in of kelp. I think they mix in the green sand. I don't know, I'd have to look that up. But I know that a lot of gardeners, they put in the green sand in their new beds to help give it a boost of fertility, and also that sand helps break up any kind of clay type soils. So that's good stuff, as long as it's harvested ethically. Any of these kind of minerals you're digging out of the earth, so you're tearing things out, but with the detriment of our soils that we have in our farmlands right now, it's going to need all the help it can get. There's paper. By putting these layers of paper on top, you're actually cutting down on the amount of bugs you're going to have, flies, because you may get, maggots and stuff laying in here. I don't mind the black soldier flies, because they're a benefit to your compost. But a lot of times their little offspring, you can see here, they don't make it out. And that basically there is like just more compost, because they eat your compost, and then some of them don't get out, and they get left behind. But the ones you don't want are the regular old bot flies, those kind of things that lay their maggot eggs, and then they become a nuisance to your animals and people. I don't want those things flying around my deck any more than I have to. Alright, well, we're done with that tray. So I guess that's kind of it. Put the lid back on her and wait till next week. Get another harvest of compost ready to go, worm castings. Gonna help make some healthy potatoes for Paul and I for this winter. Alright, well, this has been Brian from pnbhomesteading.com. I'll talk to you guys next week. Alright, bye.